I have been talking into my mic that I have muted for whatever reason. So, good evening, everybody. Um, I am here with Greg. Let's see. I think I'm going to try to make this maximize this a little bit. Okay. All right. So, I'll be going over the futures basics tonight, and for those of you that have joined us before, it's pretty much the same stuff, guys. The basics of it, how to get started, how to trade your own accounts with your own capital, prop firms, all of that, risk management. Um, and then I will have Greg join me towards the end to answer any questions. We are also going to be running a pretty big giveaway, total of like, let's see, 9 accounts. So 2 of them are actually straight to funded. So, or straight to master, I think is what this one is called. Just kind of get situated and check the chat to see if you guys can hear me. I need to post this link. Okay, sorry guys, I was just posting about the 490 people. Okay. This is the link that will start in about an hour at 9 p.m. Eastern. So there's like 9 accounts. It will be random drawing. So, okay, let me get started. I will go over any and all the questions that you may have at the end, guys. I will try to kind of go a little bit faster through this. And I'm not going to stop the stream or anything like that to answer any questions, just because I'm going to get through this. And then at the end, if you guys have any questions for me or for Greg, I'll ask him some questions towards the end. So I'm excited to hear about what he's got to say. So basically, let's start here. So futures trading basics. If you've never traded futures, or if you have and you haven't gone through something where it gives you more of an in-depth explanation, then you're in the right space. So futures trading, what are futures? So futures trading is basically a contract between a buyer looking to invest and a seller where the contract is made for the future and has an expiration date. There are two participants, so hedgers and speculators. Hedgers protect their assets from risks, and speculators are usually floor traders. So as retail traders, we are considered speculators. Futures contracts are available on 5 different assets, such as equity index futures, interest rate futures, commodity futures, currency futures, metal futures, and they have expiration dates. NinjaTrader or Tradeovate, or whatever broker that you're using will automatically prompt you to roll over. As you can see, it kind of looks like this. It'll just say the instrument is projected to roll to the next expiry. So equity index futures, typically it's on a third Friday of every third month is when it expires. So that's E-mini, S&P 500. It is basically quarterly expirations, which is March, June, September, and December, and that also goes for NASDAQ. Interest rate futures, commodity futures like oil or gold, metal futures, currency futures, they expire monthly. So you will be prompted to roll over monthly if you're trading something such as like, gold or oil. Okay, so some of the, so basically the purpose of this is to teach some of the fundamentals of how futures work, how you can trade them on your own account, and how you can get a funded futures account, since I believe that many would benefit from adding futures trading to their skill set. So some of the key terminologies that are used, I'm just going to pick a few off of here. They're fairly self-explainable. The most that we use, I would say, is lot or contract. That's basically the unit of the instrument. So if I say I'm in 5 lots or 5 contracts of NQ, that's just what that means, or MNQ, whatever it is. Tick is the smallest price movement that a futures contract can make. Point is a $1 move or one handle. And Globex is an electronic trading platform used for derivative futures and commodity contracts. However, traders also use the term Globex to mean the overnight session of the market. So, like right now, if people are trading, it's the Asian market, and they'll say, "Oh, I traded Globex." Okay. The margin is the amount of money required to be deposited by a trader to open a futures position. Let's see what else. RTH is obviously the regular trading hours for the specific exchange or market center, typically during the New York Stock Exchange. So first off, the market is essentially futures. So we frequently discuss ES, and the S&P 500 futures are those. So although these futures are traded similarly to other derivatives, leverage is what they offer above all else. So futures trading is simply a very leveraged form of stock trading. So to contrast with futures, an E-mini S&P 500 contract offers roughly 32 to 1 leverage, and because ES trades in ticks, aka 0.2.5 or 0.25 spread, one contract changes value by $12.50 for every 0.25 it moves. So you gain or lose $50 when ES moves 1 point. So for example, if ES moves 10 points, you either win or lose $500. And then a tenth of an ES contract is MES. So instead of the $50 per point, it's actually $5 for each point for MES. Literally, it's simply just a tenth of the same stuff. So, these trade in a manner more akin to shares than options. There's no theta, there's no IV, stop losses can be placed at precise price points, and each futures contract has its own specification, including the size of the contract, the tick size, which is that minimum price movement, the delivery date, and micro E-minis are 1/10 as small as E-mini contracts. So I spoke a little bit about the S&P or ES S&P 500. So one NQ, which is NASDAQ, changes value by $5 per tick or $20 per point. However, the micro version or the micro one changes value by 50 cents per tick or $2 per 1 point. So to kind of give you an example, NQ last night went from I think we moved like 500 points from like last night until today, end of session. So if you just, if you're sized down, if you just take the amount of how much we've moved, how many points, um, and times it by, if you're trading NQ, $20 per point or $2 per point, and if you, let's just say you caught the whole move, that should give you just, the price, or the profit. However, on the other hand, if you look at CL oil, that changes value by $10 per tick or $10 per 0.01 cents. Each penny is a tick and it's worth $10, which actually ends up being $1,000 per point. So in CL, there's 100 ticks in 1 point. Okay, so if oil is trading at $60 and it goes from $60 to $61, that $1 move is $1,000. Okay, so every single penny is 10 bucks. And I found out the hard way because when I started trading futures, I came from options over 3+ years ago. I trade options, and even though I was in the right direction or whatever, my options contract would decay, and it was something that I didn't like. I think a lot of people don't. So when I started trading oil, it was my first time. I didn't have anyone to explain anything to me. I couldn't find anything in one place. There were rarely any, and believe it or not, there's a lot of like influencers that I actually taught how to like the futures basics, because they weren't on board. They actually, a lot of people used to make fun of me about futures, but it was because it was unknown to most. And not to say that there weren't people, it's just that in my trading world, coming from options, I didn't have anybody to turn to. So a lot of it was trial and error, and that cost a lot of money. So when I got into oil one night, it was I get in and I'm like, why am I down 80 bucks? It hasn't even moved. And I'm looking at it. First I thought it was a glitch, because I didn't realize that it moved like every penny. I was down 8 cents. That it was $10. So like I said, trial and error. Gold changes value by $10 per tick or $10 per every 10 cents. So each point is $100. Futures market is basically open for 23 hours a day. Typically, you must close out your position by 4:59 p.m. if you're trading on day trade futures. Day trade margins or funded prop accounts. It opens at 6 p.m. Eastern and closes Friday at 4:59 p.m. Eastern. Typically, the best times to trade would be during the New York Stock Exchange market open or during the European markets, which is in the middle of the night. Also, you need to check during the holiday because the hours may vary. So, for example, when we had Labor Day, New York Stock Exchange was closed, but we were open from 6 p.m. that Sunday night until 1 p.m. the following day. And also, I'm going to actually back up a little bit to this here. So what I see a lot of times when new traders jump straight into trading futures, the first thing they do is they jump into trading the minis, ES, NQ, GC, CL. They don't go for the micros. And they think it's just trading, futures, when the truth is the risk is equivalent to trading the full index value. So they don't realize that trading NQ is like trading NDX, or trading ES is more like trading SPX. So instead, most traders should be trading the micros instead. Um, the MNQ, the MES, which is more, so MNQ is more like QQQ. MES is more like SPY. So, think of it being a brand new options trader, and the first thing you're trading is NDX or SPX. Your port's not going to like you very much while you're learning. So, it's always best as you're learning, as you're going along, to scale in properly for your account size. Don't trade NQ in your accounts as you should be trading MNQ, and especially if you're new to futures. Also, don't trade ES when it says you should be in MES. So just because you can doesn't mean you should. Let's see. So this right here is more like a cheat sheet. It's a comprehensive futures contract specification. There's Dow Jones, the Russells, gold, crude. So it tells you the name of the future, of the instrument, and also the minimum tick size, which is that smallest price movement, and how much each tick is worth. So like I said, ES is 0.25. Which is $12.50. The micros, $1.25. If you're looking at NASDAQ, minimum tick is 0.25. NQ is $5 per tick, or 50 cents if you're trading the micro version, the MNQ. So you can see, if you're trading like IWM, RTY, just kind of see what it is per tick, because they're not all the same. They also, the notional value is also completely different. So let's see, let's move along. So there are different ways of getting funding. Okay, so I'm going to talk about funding your own account or your account with your own capital. One way is you can trade micros, which cost roughly like $2,300 for an MES lot, and about $23K for one ES lot. And that's on TOS or Interactive Brokers, so more of the traditional brokers. You want to check with your broker how much capital you need for these, because this was as of like maybe like a couple of months ago. And then, if you're wanting to like swing trade, you're able to do that as well. I am not 100% sure if they offer, what is it called? Day trade margin. So you'd want to check with them. And you'll usually have to get approved through them to trade. Second way is if you use a broker that specializes in futures, such as NinjaTrader or Tradeovate. Webull is one of them. So you can go to Webull as well. So instead of the 23,448, for the traditional broker, Tradeovate, and I'm just going to use Tradeovate as an example. Tradeovate offers $500 to $1,000 day trading margin for E-mini contracts. Micro contracts are even more affordable. MES costs only $50 day trading margin, and MNQ costs $100. And this is for day trade margin only. Overnight positions require full initial margin, and I'll explain what that means. But like for NQ, day trade margin is $1,000 for one contract. However, if you are wanting to swing trade, let's say you want to swing over the weekend, one NQ is $33,000. So the distinction is that when you purchase or sell a contract, you're not purchasing ES shares. So therefore, it costs the same amount of money to buy or sell one contract, regardless of the price at which ES is trading at. And margin is a term for that. So also, margins do tend to change upon news events, so you would need to check, your broker on margin specifications. But if you are comfortable, like if you've been trading, let's say equities or options for a long time, you're comfortable with trading your own money. Trading the micros is actually a fairly affordable way. making it a good choice for anyone that feels comfortable trading their own money, and also using the day trade margin. So what exactly is the day trade margin? So if you look here where it says margin requirements of Tradeovate or NinjaTrader, up here we've got day trade or day margin, and then right next to it, it's initial margin. And basically, Tradeovate offers a reduced margin for both the day session as well as the overnight session. So the reduced intraday margins are currently available from 6 p.m. Eastern until 4:45 p.m. Eastern the following day, so almost 23 hours. Initial margin, which is this here on the right side, is required from 4:45 p.m. Eastern until 6 p.m. Eastern. So if you are, let's say, wanting to swing over the weekend, one NQ is going to be 33 grand. That's how much you would need to have at least, in your account, to swing that. That's the margin you would need. But let's say, or like if you're wanting to swing trade, I don't know, between for a couple of days, or even from like through that 4:45 p.m. until 6 p.m., you need this initial margin. So as a scalper, as a day trader, I don't swing my position. There's no PDT. We can close our positions anytime, reopen them at any time. So the day trade margin works just fine. The MNQ is $100, MES is $50. ES is 500, NQ is 1,000. So I don't have to put in 33 grand just for one contract, when I could close out my position at 4:45 p.m. and reopen it at 6 p.m. So like an hour and 15 minutes later or whatever, if that's what I choose to do. Sure, there are times when we have, little gap ups, gap downs, whatever it is. But again, pick your pick your poison, I guess. Choose what kind of a trader you are. Also, account minimum typically is about like $250 to open a Tradeovate account. It's one of the lowest in the industry, and I think AMT is also another one that offers, pretty good margin requirements. So, third way is trading with prop firms. So basically, the way that works is you utilize a finance partner. There are many. There's like 80 different types of prop firms, right? But I'll just pick a few. If you, for example, Tradeify, Apex Trader Funding, Legends Trading, Take Profit Trader, the Futures Desk, Top Step. There's many. Okay. Some have a 1-day pass. Others have a 2-day pass. And what that means is that it's a minimum evaluation where you can be funded in as little as, whether it's 1 day or 2 days, 5 days. Different prop firms have different rules. Okay, so for this right here, I'm just going to use Apex Trader Funding as an example. So you demonstrate to the prop firm that you are a successful trader. You must pay to enter the evaluation, which is a SIM account. If you succeed, you will then be given a funded account to trade with. You pay the activation fee if there is. Some firms don't have any activation fees. Some have it on certain accounts, not all. So it just depends on the accounts and prop firms. You keep all of the proceeds up to $25,000, and then you keep 90% of the profit after the first $25,000 you earn, while they keep 10%. So basically, there's a split. Some people will get multiple accounts when it's on discount so that they can trade them at the same time. There are trade copiers you can use, and each account must pass the performance evaluation, as they are all standalone accounts. So, is this too good to be true? Not really. Most traders fail due to lack of discipline and, risk management. And this is how these companies make money. And I don't care if you are trading options, if you're trading futures, if you're trading your own money, your grandma's money, it doesn't matter. the truth is 95% of traders fail. And it's not because of the prop firm. It's not because of the, market maker or manipulation or whatever people like to call these days. It's because of sizing, risk management, and lack of discipline. So if you can trade the chart, um, for example, you know how to chart, you've been fairly, whether you know how to chart SPY or QQQ, it's no different trading futures. Okay, you can use your same indicators, moving averages, Fibonacci's, pivots, whatever you're using, supply and demand to chart Nasdaq and S&P 500. So there are people, and you guys have seen this all over, that have withdrawn, their funds, but they're also consistent. So the worst that can happen is you lose your account evaluation fee. You do not pay back any capital. So they're not loaning you, 50K, and if you lose it, you got to pay that back. That's not how this works. Okay. And really, guys, I know this may be, there are people that don't know that. So this is just in general. Okay. um, and also, you can take these evaluations as many times. It's not just once and that's it. Also, if a firm has, let's say, a 7-day pass, evaluation, it does not mean you need to pass it in 7 days. You can, it doesn't mean that it has to be consecutive days. So, it can take you 10 days, it can take you 15 days, it can take you 20 days. That's fine. So just know that it's not, oh, I got to pass it in 1 day and that's it. No, that's just the minimum. In fact, what I always suggest is to take your time. Size down, take your time, see how it works, all of that. Play on a demo, practice account. So this right here is actually from Take Profit Trader, but why prop firm versus trading your own money? So all of the technology and account setup is done by them. There's no documentation or any painful account setup experiences. Also, simply put, most traders are undercapitalized, so you level the playing field by using their accounts, not your own funds. Lack of discipline haunts traders, and the risk management system and rules will make sure you stay disciplined during your trades. And also, trading your own funds can lead to severe losses. However, with a prop firm, your losses are limited to that associated challenge fee. And for me, I wish I knew about the prop firms back when I started trading. I was trading a lot with options, but I lost 220 grand of my own money trading options in 1 year. That's a lot. And if I knew of a prop firm, I could have, I would have rather lost 2 grand, for example, or $50 for a challenge fee instead of what I've lost. So again, it's they say you pay the market tuition. That was my tuition. So here I'm going to talk about different drawdowns. Okay, let me kind of pull up something real fast. I'm trying to find. Kind of just show you guys how similar, these accounts are as far as, so I'm going to actually pull up Legends Trading. So they've got 3 types of accounts, okay? They've got an end of day trade, which is right here, EOD, so end of day trailing. And end of day trailing, I think, for this one as well. Hang on. Okay, and then a straight to funded. So what is a straight to funded or straight to master? These are not the fees, guys. There are discounts, but just to kind of keep up with me. So straight to funded or straight to master is basically you skip the evaluation, which is these two, and you go straight into a sim funded account. So anything that you make in here, as long as you stay within you meet your goals. So let's say on you meet that $3,000 goal for a 50K account. You don't go below your $2,000 trailing max loss. You are able to take payouts out of these accounts. But let's say you're new and you're trying to just trade your, to pass an evaluation. So then you can, this is an evaluation account. And it's got the end of day trailing max loss. Some firms have, so I'll pull up actually. Typically, for a 50K account, with most firms, typical goal is about $3,000 profit and a $2,000 drawdown. Okay, so what does that mean? Let me kind of go here. And also, some firms have intraday trailing, which is I'll explain the difference. So your drawdown, so let's start with the intraday trailing. So your drawdown limit moves up with your balance and unrealized gains throughout the day, but it resets to the daily starting balance each day. So what does that mean? Let's say you have a 50K account, your drawdown is 47,000. Okay, so you have a $3,000 drawdown. So at 10 a.m. you make $500 in profit. You're at 50,500. Now your drawdown moves to 47,500. So let's say at 11 a.m. you make another $300. You are at 50,800. Your drawdown moves to 47,800. Let's say at 1 p.m. you open a position with $600 unrealized gain. So your balance is 51,400 unrealized. Your drawdown moves to 48,400. So it trails unrealized gains. Okay. Say at 2 p.m. you close your position for $400 realized profit. You realize your profit at 51,200. Drawdown stays at 48,400. It doesn't go back down. So let's say at 3 p.m. you lose $400. So now your balance is 50,800. Your drawdown stays at 48,400. It doesn't go down, and the remaining drawdown ends up being $2,400. So the next day, your account resets. Your available drawdown is now $2,400 because it's $3,000 from the highest balance, including unrealized. This is best for people that take base hits, who are more of scalpers, that kind of a trader. If you are more of a day trader where you hold your positions, then you would be looking at the end of day trailing or the static drawdown. So how the end of day trailing works is your drawdown limit only moves up based on your ending balance at the close of each trading day. So let's say again, your day one starts at 50,000. Your drawdown is 47,000. $3,000 available. Let's say during the day you're up to 51,500, then down to 50,800. Drawdown stays 47,000 all day. Total drawdown available is $3,000. It stays fixed all day. So day one you close at 50,800. Your drawdown updates to 47,800. Day two starts 50,800. Drawdown is still 47,800, which is $3,000 from your new starting balance. So your total drawdown available is $3,000, and that's what Legends Trading, they've got the evaluation accounts are with the end of day trailing. So if you, like I said, if you like to hold your position, if you are more, kind of like I don't know, if you can hold it, I suppose, for 20 hours, it doesn't matter because this is going to just update at the end of the day. And then the third type is the static drawdown. Your drawdown limit is fixed based on your starting account balance. It never changes. So, for example, 50K account with 3K drawdown. Your account starts at 50,000, drawdown is 47,000. You know, let's say week 1 you grow to 55,000. Your drawdown stays at 47,000. Let's say month 1 you grow to 60,000. Drawdown stays at 47,000. Month 6 your account is at 75,000, your drawdown is still at 47,000. So let's say reality check, you lose 28 grand, you can still breach your account. So that's kind of the difference between the three. You got to just kind of look at the rules and see what each prop firm offers. Here, this is just like a little comparison. Let me go to just kind of show you guys. I need to log out. Hang on, let me log out and log back in. Oh. Okay. All right. So these are the featured, prop firms that, so Legends Trading, Tradeify, Take Profit, Futures Desk, they all have their own unique set of rules. Futures Desk has pretty great, probably one of the best static accounts. So you just want to kind of look through, and if you want to compare what their evaluation rules are, what the payout rules are. Let's say you want to go down here and weed out the firms that only have end of day. You can do that, and you can it will just pull up the firms that have that. Or if you just want trailing and that's it, it'll pull up that as well. So you can kind of play around with this, and you can go into their full details. And when you click on the full details, it'll actually just bring up more of a condensed version of their website, and then you can obviously go visit their website, and it will show you what. So Legends has you can get funded in 4 days. There's a cost calculator, so if you are trading, let's say you want to, well, actually, let me go down to multi-firm comparison. So I'm sure you guys have heard of Top Step. Let's say Top Step, there's no discount, there's a fee. Let's add, where is it? Legends Trading. Let's do the same. 50K Elite. I think there is a, hang on. I know there's a, hold on, there is a, I'm trying to see, I think it's 35%. 35%. Okay, so same accounts. This one, Legends, ends up being $96 total final price. So the profit target, the drawdown amount, all of that. So you can actually compare multiple firms with this. Just add in the discount, and actually typically pulls up the discount. I'm not sure why. I think you guys have a new discount going on, so this didn't pull it up immediately, but yeah, I can do that. Okay, so one thing that I wanted to kind of point out to you guys, this is my website. It's called Prop Firm Trend. It's for free. Everything on here is free. It's kind of I condensed everything that I wish I knew or had when I started trading futures. And I can see also with so many people that are struggling, and even though they've been trading for a long time, trading futures for a long time, they're still not profitable, and it's not because they, the biggest reason, and I will say 90% of the time, it's the risk management. And this here is a risk management calculator you can put in. So whether you're trading gold micros, whether you're trading, MNQs, you enter the amount of like the drawdown account or amount, or if you're trading your own account. So let's say it's $2,000, and typically you shouldn't be risking any more than 2%, 5% only if you have a high conviction, okay, or like you have a strong edge. So let's say I'm just going to put in 26,000 for a stop loss or for a MNQ and a 10-point stop loss. Okay, it's 5 contracts of M&Q. But what I see, and I'm sure Greg can tell you guys the same thing because other CEOs have said the same thing. People don't go for, if you go for 15%, and actually people go for more, 30, 40%. One or two losing, 15%, 5 losing trades, your 50% of your account is gone. 7 losing trades, your account is done. Okay. So you're oversizing, especially if you are doing this. You go to NQ. I don't even know if it's good. Yeah, even one contract of NQ is, 5 losing trades is gonna, can kill your account. So it's so important to, I typically like to trade with bigger accounts, like 300K accounts or at least 150K account, just because it gives me more of a drawdown. So $5,000. Let's say I, can risk 5%. That's 12 contracts of M&Q. Okay. So that's kind of one of the big things is really the sizing, especially when people are moving between, going to gold, or you got everybody's jumping on gold right now. But I can assure you that a lot of times they just get into a nice move and it's like, oh, I made, $3,000 or $5,000 or whatever it is. But the thing is they oversized, not realizing that the next few times they take that same trade, it's going to blow their account. Also, one thing is to have at least a hard stop loss, no matter how you're trading or what you're trading, because if you don't have a hard stop loss, the market will have it for you because you'll get auto liquidated. Futures move pretty fast, especially if you're oversized. It's better to be stopped out, and if you have to get back into the position, that's fine. If you're down 10 points or 20 points, whatever it is, okay, takes you out, it's fine. You can always re-enter. But what you can't do is, you're sitting in your position, you're down, and it just, comes through, you're down 40 points, 50 points. You have to understand, in order for you to just break even, you have to make that back plus some just to break even. Another thing here is the trading journal. This is also free. You can, import your CSV and just kind of follow along. The growth calculator. One big thing is understanding the risk to reward ratio, and a lot of people don't. So, for example, for me, I am more of a scalper. I have a 10-point stop loss. However, my take profit is at least 10 points or more. So, if you have a 2-to-1 ratio, so this means you're risking $500 to make $1,000. So even with a 33% win rate, you would be, break even, and anything above that would be profit. However, what I see is people will risk $1,000 to make $200. So that's not a good. You don't want to risk, 3% to make 1%. You need 75% or more of a win rate, to sustain that. So this is another thing in here. Also here in the trading resources, If you when you start trading futures in the morning, what you want to do is always go and check the calendars. So you want to either go to the Trading Economics calendar or Forex Factory. Some firms will not let you trade news. And that's when I say news, like CPI or FOMC or something like that. Some will. So you want to check the rules on that, check to see. And it's always important to know what's coming through as you're, when you're trading. And also if you're trading NASDAQ, go to Earnings Hub, check to see what is coming that day. If it's Microsoft or Nvidia or whatever, it could have an impact if you are in a trade and after New York session closes and something spikes up or spikes down and you're like, what's going on? Well, check the earnings. Also, I always check bar chart, Benzinga in the morning, and then I have Financial Juice throughout the day. In my Discord, it's just it's a real-time financial news aggregator, just giving us market updates. So as the day is coming through, we kind of watch for that. So also, if you're trading, let's say you swung a position and you want to know what, if we gapped up or gapped down during the weekend, you can go here and check that out. That's the IG US Dex. And let's see. So another thing is the psychology lab, the mental state, if you are, we all have emotions, and I know everybody says, hey, take your emotions out. Yeah, okay, well, thanks, because we are all human and we're going to have emotions. We're going to have, whether you're anxious, whether you're fearful, whether you're greedy, vengeful, bored, those are all emotions. And, if you tend to, I know for me, if I get bored, I'm going to get into trades and just because I'm bored and it's kind of stupid. So if I'm sitting around at the chart and just sitting there, I'm like, okay, I just, by this point, right, you would think that I wouldn't do that, but I do at times, not all the time, but there are times where I'll get into it because I was bored or I thought, a trade was setting up and it doesn't, right? So you got to know what, go through these assessments. It's an honest self-assessment, and then it will show you once you, I don't know, you're tired, you're whatever. It's like, if you're at a high risk state, consider not trading. You can continue to check your bias or whatever. It will help you at the end kind of show your emotional state and which ones you have, like what emotions set you off more than others, because we're all different. So play around with that as well. Let's see. I think that's about it. So I was going to show you guys how to execute trades, just kind of what it looks like, but I haven't signed in to my broker. So let's see if I can do that quickly and just kind of execute, pull up a sim account to execute those so you can see. Let's see. And then I'll bring Greg over and I'll ask him some questions. And then we'll, in a couple of minutes, it will have, let's see. In 6 minutes, we're going to have the that drawing, you guys. So just gonna be ready for that. Go to a sim. One. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so this right here is NASDAQ or NQ. So let's say I want to take a short, okay? So you can either, I mean, depends what you're using, but you know, there's sell market, sell ask, sell bid. So let's just say for this, I'm gonna just sell market. This here is my stop loss. I can move this up and down. But notice how 1 point, no, it's okay. So 1 point is $20. So if you see here, I don't know if you guys, if it's too small, but like the price is 25,662, you know, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75. So notice it goes in quarters, okay? So each quarter is $5. So it will, right now it's the Asia market, so it's a little slow. But just to kind of show you guys, I usually like to keep mine. I don't like the dollar amount just because I think we're more emotional when it comes to the dollar amount. But like here's points. So like I'm down 5 points. Okay. Um, each point is $20, which means I'm down. Okay. Right now I'm down $120. Okay. So let's say I want to, just going to close this and go to MNQ, which is the micro version of it. So if I was in the same trade, okay, because it's the same thing, it's just the micro version, and I was short, okay. So let's just say 2.5 or 2 points. See how the dollar amount is a lot less? That's what the difference is, you know, and how fast it can move, especially during, you know, like the New York Stock Exchange open or whatever. If we go to ES, and let's just say we want to go long, okay? Oops, no, I don't want to do 3. I should have done this. Okay, so each tick is $12.50. So if you see here, we're at 68.15, or now it's a 16.0, but it's going to move in quarters. So 0.25, 0.50, 0.75. So each tick is $12.50. And then this $1 move, or 1 point, one handle, whatever you want to call it, is $50. Okay. ES is not as volatile as an NQ. So just, you know, but typically they move together. Not always. There is a divergence at times. Okay, so I'm going to close that. And then the micro version, which is the micros MES. Okay, so see here, let's just, it's because I have that template on here, but you know, this is the micro version. So it's $1.25 instead of $12.50. So $1 is $5. So that's kind of, you know, if we go long, we buy, you know, buy bid, buy market, buy ask. If we go short, you know, do the sell. Always, you know, always have a hard stop loss. Like I said, you can always, I mean, just kind of calculate what you can lose per position with the risk management calculator, and just see what it, you know, what works for you with your technical analysis. Whether you're using moving averages, whether you're using pivots, what, you know, it works the same. Some people actually will chart on SPY and execute on ES. Some will chart on QQQ and execute on NQ. I personally like to chart on you know, futures themselves. So, okay, let me bring up Greg, and if I can find it. Hang on. I'll bring up your website as well so that they can see. computer not working? Legend. All right, here we go. You can tell me where to, if you want me to click some stuff, but I'll ask you a few questions. So I know you're not, you know, uh, you're not a trader. Okay. Can you give us a little bit of a background about yourself?
Of course. Good evening. Thanks for having me on. I actually really enjoyed your webinar. Great for beginners.
Thank
You
you.
don't find this type of intro to future nowadays. Usually, educators, they just want to fast forward you to trading without even knowing the tick size or the difference between micros and minis. Great job. Awesome webinar.
Thank you.
And thanks for having me on. A little background on myself. I've been a broker for 24 years. Started as a broker assist in the industry in 2000. Worked for a firm called Global Futures Exchange and Trading Company, offering E-minis, and there was no micros at that point. Um, I remember margins were seven, $8,000, $10,000 trading E-mini S&P. Trading platforms used to be browser based, where they used to update every 3 minutes. So a long way we came around trading the micros now. Four or $500 day trading margins. It's great. And in 2017, I launched my own brokerage firm called GFF Brokers. We're known for a retail self-direct broker.
Okay. So what's the difference between like, your brokerage firm and a prop firm?
A brokerage firm, clients, just like you covered a little earlier, clients trade their own account. They open their own trading account, put their own capital in, and trade with their own rules, right? Obviously, they can't take the account negative as long as they stay within the margin of the FCM and the brokerage firm. They could trade with their own rules versus prop firm. Now, since you're trading prop capital, whether it's on the sim environment or live money, you have to basically trade with the prop rules as far as the drawdown, profit target, number of contracts, etc.
Okay. So how does, your experience in the brokerage firm help shape Legends Trading Group?
Um, I saw growth in the prop space basically, and my vision in the brokerage side of trading, I thought it could benefit in the prop space. I've seen on the brokerage side where clients open a $5,000 account, $10,000 account, and within hours, maybe a day or a couple of days if they're lucky, they used to go through that $5,000, $10,000 because they didn't know how to use stops, they didn't know how to use limits, they didn't understand the tick size, the value of the markets they're trading. And I felt when I saw the prop space, I felt that this could be great for beginners. So if you're interested to trade and if you're interested to trade with your own capital, prop space, I feel it's a perfect start where you could buy a 50K account, 100K, 25K account, um, and pay with 70% off, 80% off. That's some evaluation accounts come to 40, $50 trade. And if you blow up the account, it's okay. You could reset the account, and few months later, if you're good at what you do, now you're ready to risk your own capital. Few months later, if you decide this is not for me, all you did is waste a couple $100 versus in the real world, you would have lost 5, 10, $15,000 of your own capital.
Okay. So, what made you start? I suppose you kind of answered that, but actually, let me ask you another question. If you could change one thing about how prop firm industry or the trading industry operates, what would that be?
Stability. I feel
Okay.
like prop space is a moving target. Maybe a little bit regulation to protect traders from prop firms with the wrong intention to be in our space. I always do welcome regulation.
I agree, actually. Um, as I mentioned earlier, there's like 80 prop firms out there, and many have closed. So I've vetted. I've got about 20 prop firms that I vetted, and you guys are one of them. That I would not want to have someone start with a, I don't know, XYZ prop firm and all of a sudden like they get rugged or something. So yes, I completely agree that there's some regulation and instability that needs to happen. Um, and so what do you think separates the best prop firms from the rest?
Customer support is key. Um, Again, stability of the prop firm, vision, and the end goal for traders, as well as the prop firm. What is the end goal for the trader? Is it just going through the evaluation, getting a funded account, trading live, and that's it? Or is there growth for traders? With us at Legends Trading Group, there is a growth after trading funded accounts. We're at that point, at one point, once you're trading live money, then we could start um, tracking your trades. And if we see you're doing great trading live money, because that's the most important part, trading live money. Trading on a sim environment, market touches your price, you're filled. In a real market, it has to pass through your price to guarantee trade. So once we see that trader is a stable trader, good trader, trades responsibly, then we will approach that trader and ask them if they want a career in trading, such as the CTA, Commodity Trading Advisor, or become a leader with World Cup trading as a leader follower. So
Right.
basically, for traders, it doesn't stop. Your end goal is not just trading prop money. If that's what you want, great. If you want growth, we could assist you with that growth.
Okay. And what advice would you give someone who's comparing multiple prop firms right now?
Um, I mean, they're all great, right? All the prop. I mean, some of these prop firms out there, they have a good vision. They have good goals for the traders, and trader needs to feel comfortable with the plans, with the prop firm. At the end, you're using more or less the same trading platform, right? You're using Tradeovate, NinjaTrader, Rhythmic, or Project X. So the trading platform for the client, more or less, it's the same. So rules of the prop makes a difference, and the stability of the prop firm. So if a trader feels comfortable trading with Legends, great. If they feel comfortable with trading with another prop firm, great. Don't just chase what's the next best deal. If you're happy and you're comfortable trading somewhere and you're doing good, and now Legends offering 80%, don't just jump on that 80% just for the sake of getting a discounted account. If you're comfortable with a prop firm, stay there, stick around. If you want to trade, try a new prop firm. There's nothing wrong with trying a new prop firm. But I noticed some traders, they're trying to chase who has the next best offer in the industry versus focusing on their trades.
Right, right. Okay, let's see. Let me see if the audience, do you guys have any questions? No one uses Windows Microsoft. Thanks, John. Let's see. Yeah, you guys have to wait. So the entries you guys can enter right now. Oh, okay. So somebody said Legends definitely listened to their community and brought the elite account.
Yeah, we did. We did listen to our traders. A lot of our traders gave us their positive feedback, and with their help, we shaped elite plans.
Right. Let's see. So
And
there's
that's what
3
we
hours
want.
left on it.
Yeah, and we want to hear from our community. You know, this we're here to cater our traders.
Let's see. Do you guys have any questions? And trying to see. So the giveaway is open for 3 hours, guys. There's 9 accounts that are being offered or that are being given away by Greg. And it is there's the 50K accounts, the elite, and straight to master. So you skip the evaluation. There's 2 of those being given to elite, and I just want to double check. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Where is my? Yeah, sorry. 5 evaluation apprentice of 50K, and then 50K straight to master. There's 2 of those, and then 2 elite accounts. So, and it's open for 3 hours. So make sure you guys enter. And once you guys enter, you will get a email directly, whatever you signed up with, and then within the next 24 to 48 hours, we'll get you guys the codes for that. Let's see. Any other questions? Okay. So Fenster asks, what sets Legends apart at this point, with everyone seeming to open a prop firm every other day? What makes Legends special?
Our background in the future space, right? So Legends is just addition to our already successful brokerage solution we have for our traders. We didn't just decided to launch the prop space. We thought the prop space it would be a good addition to the existing brokerage solution we have, where we could provide the first step to our traders, where if they're not ready to open their own live trading account, they could join a prop space, get familiar with trading, make mistakes on the prop side because it is on the evaluation uh, um, on a sim environment. And when they're ready to make the jump to live money trading, they can. And if they decide to stay in the prop space, that's all right as well. And also for us, the same vision I have, the same ethical responsibility I have at the brokerage firm, we're bringing the same type to the prop space. I know on the prop space, you don't require a Series 3, Series 34 license. Anybody could start a prop space, but working with Legends Trading Group, at least, we do have a background in the futures space as far as, and we are licensed individuals.
So, question about your brokerage firm. So any one of us could open just and trade our own accounts with that?
Yeah, of course. I'm obviously trading on the brokerage side of my brokerage firm, there's different regulation we have to follow than Legends. I can't freely speak about the brokerage firm, but if you follow me on Twitter, you could see the brokerage firm I own. Definitely, you can visit the brokerage firm. We are a retail self-direct IIB. IIB stands for Independent Introducing Brokers. So there's two types of brokerage out there. There's a GIB and an IIB. GIB means you're guaranteed. You could only work with one FCM. You could only work with StoneX or only Dorman and or only Ninja, because Ninja now they're an FCM as well. Versus our brokerage firm, where an IIB we clear through multiple FCMs, right? So a client from, let's say, Canada, certain FCMs don't allow Canadian traders, so we cater those traders and we go with the FCM that offers Canadian solution for our traders. And we do offer a deep discount commission. Our commissions, our margins, they're very, very similar to Ninja and TradeOvate's commissions and margins. Actually, my brokerage firm is NinjaTrader's preferred brokerage solution. For some countries, they don't cater. So my brokerage firm does have a great relationship with NinjaTrader.
Okay, that's good to know. Somebody asked, what about trying to build the traders up from the start with proper education? Tyler Trades for Days asked that.
I'm sorry, what was his question?
He said, what about trying to build traders? Oh, I think I can show it. What about trying to build the traders up from the start with proper education?
Like proper education on Legend side, or proper education on the futures industry or the prop industry?
I'm not sure. I'm gonna wait and see if he can answer that. And I'm also gonna post your follow at. Sometimes there's a little bit of a lag between when they type something out and for us to see it. Okay, there it is. Okay, so okay, chat. Nope, he didn't finish the question. So, all right, well, next question. How does the risk rules look like on live side? On the live side, is it static or trailing?
On the live side, the risk as far as the trailing, the drawdown part,
Yes.
the drawdown on that is basically, again, most likely it is end of day. End of day, but once you hit your account balance plus 100 because of the buffer, then the trailing goes away.
Okay, so like once the threshold is met, plus 100, then it becomes static. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. Any other questions you guys might have? I don't see anything else. Oh, Now he said prop and eventually to live, but starting in the prop space. Okay, so he's saying, what about trying to build the traders up from the start with the proper education? Prop and eventually to live, but starting in the prop space.
Yeah, I mean that's a great start for traders. I feel years ago they never had this opportunity, right? Where clients could start with a prop and build their confidence, build their way, make their mistake, and once they're ready to risk their own capital, then they join a brokerage solution. And I noticed also coming from the brokerage side, a lot of educators they are also switching to prop as well. They're teaching clients to trade on prop first, get their feet wet, then move to live money trading.
Okay, let's see. Any other questions, guys? I don't see any other questions so far. But like I
No
said,
problem.
I don't know why there's like a little bit of a lag between when they type something out till to the time that we see it. So,
No
um,
problem. And if anybody has
oh,
any questions,
there's one that just came through.
sure.
It says, as a broker, what insight does he have in what makes successful traders, especially on the short time frames?
What makes a successful trader on a short time frames? I
So,
don't come from a go on, I'm sorry.
yeah, I was gonna say, your, your background, you're not actually, you've never, you're not a trader, right? You just,
I don't come from a you're right. I don't come from a trader background. I've never traded and I know it's a shock of a brokerage firm's owner not trading, but believe me if I tell you I haven't traded in 24 plus years being in the industry. Um, I get anxiety trading. I already see traders, cater traders on daily base, and I realize trading is not for me. I don't have the heart and the patience to be a successful trader. Because being a successful trader, you got to understand, got to learn to take losses. Um, you can't trade with emotions, and I'm a very emotional guy. And I realized very soon, within the first 6 months being in the industry, that trading is not for me. But I love the brokerage side of it, so we stuck around on the brokerage side of things.
that's great. I mean, that's an amazing thing to, even though you might not be trading, you know your strengths and your weaknesses, and that's what's important. So, let's see, any other questions? I don't see anything else unless something comes through, but um, I will post. So I'm getting messages asking where is the link. Okay, so I posted a link in the chat. I'll post it I'll just post it on my if you just go to my profile and it says enter this giveaway, 9 accounts to win. It's got gleam.io. Um, that's the giveaway site because it randomly picks people. So I'm not picking, Greg's not picking, you know. Oh, okay. So Tyler Trades now says he was meaning about educating the traders in, let's just say, Legends prop space to get on the right track and kind of mold them. So are you talking about like
us getting involved in the educational side.
Yeah, I
Um,
think that's what he's asking about.
yeah, we prefer to stay away from the educational side. We just want to be able to offer the service, just like on the brokerage side, we offer the service of catering the clients, same at Legends. We want to be able to provide the service, cater the clients, be there for them. We don't have an educational piece. Now, in the near future, could we work with educators, hold webinars, workshop? We're planning on that, but that will be a third party. It will not be a branch of Legends Trading Group. I do see some out there, clients not happy when a prop firm is also in the educational business, because
Hmm.
obviously if the trader's doing great, uh, um, no complaint. But if traders are doing bad, then it's a prop's fault, because the prop is educating clients or giving them the wrong philosophy of trading, just so they could reset their accounts or they could buy it. So due to that, we decide not to get involved with the educational piece and leave the educational piece to the experts.
I agree. Yeah. I feel like with that I've seen both sides of it where people are asking for it, but then when the prop firm does bring in, whether it's, uh, teachers, or they have boot camps or whatever it is, coaches, then they get blamed saying, well, it's a conflict of interest. You want us to fail so that you can make more money. So it's kind of a, the best you can do, Tyler, is there is a lot of information out there. There's a lot of free information out there. There's a lot of, um, you know, the best thing that I can always tell somebody, a lot of it is sizing, really. You know, there's a lot of, like, find some good educators that do things for free, that teach for free, um, and go from there. And then also, I mean, um, you got to work on your edge. You got to back test. There's so much that, it comes down to also the trader themselves. You can't expect somebody to hold your hand and tell you, I'm longing NQ at 25,000, because not only will you not learn, sure, you might take a few trades after somebody, but that's just not a way to build an account. Technically, anybody like, if you're in a Discord community or something, it should be more for Confluence. Use them as Confluence, build your own edge, find what works, and if it's repeatable, it works. So, yeah. Yep, it's a double-edged sword. If they do bring somebody on, it's like, you want us to fail if you don't. So,
I mean, I could give few examples of live traders, right? That I've experienced over 20 plus years. Um, Usually successful traders that have a goal, right? Goal in mind, a profit and also a loss, meaning $500 profit a day, I'm done for the day. Or $400 loss for the day, or $500 loss for the day, and I'm done. And we see traders are doing great with that philosophy they have, where they're building their account. It takes them maybe 2, 3 months to build the account, and in one day they lose it all. And usually, when I talk to the traders, they said we had a bad day. Uh, um, and that bad day should have been only $500, because when you had a $500 target, you also had a $500 loss. How'd you lose seven, $8,000, $10,000 in one trading day? That's because they were chasing losses. When the market hit their loss, they went back in the market again and again and again, without realizing that wasn't their day. I mean, the way I see the market, it's like the ocean waves. Tomorrow is a whole new day. It's not. Today is not the last day. Just because you had a bad day today doesn't mean you should risk it all in one day. Turn off your computer. Trading is not the only thing you're doing in this world. I'm pretty sure you have other activities, hobbies, work to do, right? So if the market hit your stop, today's not your day. Try again tomorrow. Versus traders, they were disciplined when they were hitting their profit target as far as not trading for the day anymore, but they didn't have that same discipline with the loss. Also, I highly believe in stops, not mental stops, real stops, right? Um, where in the beginning we had stops. Part of our rule was you have to use stops. And a lot of traders did say, hey, no other firms offering stops, requiring stops other than you guys, like, okay, fair enough. It's on a sim environment. We'll get rid of stops. But trading live money, if you don't use stops, market's not going to be forgiving to you. Even if you have a mental stop, when the market is moving fast, you're freezing. Now instead of a 4-point loss, you're at an 8-point loss. Now all of a sudden you're not getting out anymore. All right, when it goes back to 4 points, we'll get out. Now it's at a 15-point loss, 20-point loss. By the time you know it, your account got wiped out. Why? Because of mental loss. You had a mental stop and you froze.
Mm-hmm.
We see that on a daily basis, even now. So you
Yep.
want to be a disciplined trader, use stops and have a plan. That's advice I could give traders.
Okay, guys, I just posted on my Twitter the Gleam account or the website. There's 9 accounts. 9 random winners will be picked. You'll get an email, and then within 24 to 48 hours, you'll get the winners will get their accounts. So. Okay, so he says, I'm trying to get into order flow with, okay, typically, yeah, prop firms are not going to teach order flow footprint, so that's something like I do. You pass the accounts, but below it before the payout, but really need to have a set plan. That's why I follow every day. If there's no trades, I just need to walk away, but order. Yeah, I mean, Tyler, that's kind of what you need to, I mean, you got to follow your own rules. Nobody's going to pull you off of the screen and say you can't trade anymore, or you got to have a plan. And the biggest thing is sizing and rules. If you have 3 losses in a row, for example, walk away. I mean, just kind of create your own rules and a certain, like a limit per day of what you can lose, and that's it. And if you stick to that, also, greed. I know, like with me, I will run up an account, and then sometimes it's like I'll take another trade, and then that trade might be a losing trade. Then I'm trying to make it back up. So I always know, like, okay, I can't go back into the account. If I'm green, I'm just gonna leave it alone, and it is what it is. So, but I don't see any other questions. Thank you guys for coming, and thank you, Greg, for being here. I
Awesome.
appreciate your insight and your background in, owning a brokerage firm. That's a pretty big deal. A lot of these new firms that are coming up are um, being run by people that should not be running them. So um, I like the fact that there's stability, and so thank you, and
Awesome. Thanks for
all
having me.
right, you're welcome. Well, have a good night, everyone.